Hey there, good morning. So this is one I've been wanting to do for a while, and it's a little bit of an experiment for me too, but it's an idea I had to answer the question of how much to charge. So in every trade, for people starting out, and even for people who have been in the business a while and find themselves not making enough money, the question inevitably comes up, how much do I charge for my services? And the answers you kind of get on the web are it is a closely held industry secret. Nobody will ever tell you how much they charge. Nobody will ever tell you how to find a number to price jobs. Nobody will ever tell you, what is competitive in your market. Yeah, kind of true, but kind of not true. I have the same inclinations if somebody were to ask me, like, I don't like answering it. If somebody asks me, how much do you charge per hour? I don't answer that question for my own, because I do my pricing as a lump sum price based on an estimate. However, like I have been thinking of a way um, to kind of get started on how much to charge. And I wanted to just do a quick rundown of that this morning here. So uh, the idea here is list out your expenses. And by listing out your expenses, you can kind of come up with a ballpark number of how much you should be charging in your business. And let me show you what I'm talking about here. So on the spreadsheet, and you can do this on paper if you don't have a spreadsheet, but first thing we're going to do is we're going to put in business, and then down here we're going to put in personal. So this is assuming you are just kind of a solo person doing skilled trades work. Doesn't matter whether you're handyman, drywall guy, tile guy, painter, whatever. All right. So some of this information you should already have if you're in a business, obviously. But just for an example, I'm going to list some things out. I'm going to forget a bunch of things, but you'll get the idea. So the first thing we want to know is, what are our business expenses? Let's see, does our business pay rent? Does it pay anything for utilities? If you're just starting out, you're probably working from home. If you're working from home, you'll want to reimburse yourself for your office space. So that is a legitimate expense even if you're working from home. Now for me, I include the utilities kind of in the rent number, so I'm going to take that out. So you've got rent. If you're in the trades, you've got a vehicle, you've got a phone, you've got internet, you've got, let me think, insurance, and let's see what else. What other kind of expenses do we have? Oh, we have tools and equipment. We have advertising. And you can just kind of, we could break this out. Website costs. Hopefully, we have bookkeeping. Probably have some kind of cloud software. And I'm going to separate this out. I'm going to say Bookkeeping Service. And then cloud software is like QuickBooks. Maybe storage. If you're operating out of an apartment, maybe you have a storage unit to hold your tools and supplies. You could put that in there. Basically, what you want to do is you want to get a good list of all your expenses your monthly, recurring, quarterly, and yearly expenses that you have in your business. There's going to be a lot more up here, but this is just an example just to get us started. Okay, and then personal, you want to do the same thing. So you may or may not have a personal budget where a lot of this stuff is listed out. If not, it's okay. So you've got to consider your big costs here. We've got rent, mortgage, utilities. I put internet up in business. If you're working from home, you can write that off up there. If not, you can write it off down, or you can expense it down here on personal. Let's see, rent, mortgage, utilities. You've got a vehicle. And your vehicle can be in both places, just like your rent can be in both places if you're using the same vehicle. So like for me, I've got a personal vehicle that I use for business and I expense it accordingly. So it gets split between these two areas. All right, so you may have some debt to pay off, food, obviously. You've got clothes and personal care. You have gas. You pay for that out of, if you're splitting a vehicle between personal and business, your gas gets paid out of your personal, and then it becomes a reimbursement to your business up here in vehicle. Let's see, clothes, personal care, gas. Let's see, rent. And then I'm just going to put like, let's say savings. Actually, that's pretty good. I want to keep that one up there too. Savings. All right. There's going to be some more things that come up, but I'm blanking right now. Wondering like how I'm going to deal with tax here, but we'll figure that out in a minute. All right. So let's say that you are working from home. So let's start down here. Let's say that you're working from home. Let's say your rent is, you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but this is getting to be cheap in my area, $2,000 a month. And out of that $2,000, you split out let's say your garage and your basement for your business, and that's legitimate. Your garage is full of tools and supplies, and and then you use a part of your basement or a bedroom for your office. So let's say that on a square footage basis, you've got $800 out of that $2,000. So we're going to reduce that down to $1,200. So that's $2,000 right there, split between the two. Utilities, yep, those are paid down here. Let's say that those are running about $150. And you've got a vehicle. Whether or not you have a vehicle payment, you've still got to make repairs, put on tires. I'll go ahead and include gas in here. So let's say that $300 a month is kind of your vehicle cost out of your pocket. And then debt, I don't know, let's say you've got some payments to make. Food, it depends on if yourself or your family, but $1,000. Clothes and personal care. Gas, so I said I included some up here, but that's fine. I'm going to still put in $100 a month for gas. And let's say you have some savings. And then we'll do the same thing up here. So you have a $300. Some of that is reimbursed to your business. Let's split it in half, $150. And what? Yeah, that's miles, and that's all based on miles. So let's say that that's about right. Phone, let's say you're doing somewhere around $80 a month for a phone. Same for internet. Insurance, tools and equipment. I'm going to budget $150 for that. Advertising, let's say you're spending $150 a month on advertising. This is a small outfit, guys. Website, depends on if you're doing it yourself or having somebody do it. Let's budget $50. Bookkeeping service. I want to add accountant to that. Accountant does your tax return. Bookkeeper helps you with your books. Let's say that you want to budget about $150 a month for that. Cloud storage, cloud software. Let's say we're running, let's say $75 for that. You do want to have savings in your business. You are going to have to account for some tax expense. I'm not quite sure just off the top of my head how to kind of budget for that, but let's go ahead and put a budget in there. Just for some taxes, fees, stuff like that. All right. So what have we done here? We've got a rough budget, and of course you can spend a lot more time on this and really tailor it to your situation. And then personal. All right, so I'm missing a couple lines, guys. All right, so we've got a couple of numbers here. We've got some business expenses here for a monthly business expenses at $2,205, and then we've got our personal living expenses at $3,700. Let's go ahead and add those two numbers together, because this is how much cash we need to come up with every month in order to keep our business running and our personal life running. So we're going to add those two together. Got $5,900 a month, $5,905. So what that tells us right now is that we need to be making at least $5,900 a month in order to stay in business at our current rate here, and to be able to pay our rent, feed ourselves, our family, whoever is included down here. All right. Now, how does that tell us how much we need to charge? Well, let's think about it. If we need to make $5,905 a month, here's what I'm going to do. If I can get the right cell, I'm going to take 5,900 here. I'm going to multiply that by 1.20. That's 20%. I'm going to throw 20% on top of that, because I need some wiggle room for my business. I need some wiggle room for my family. You know, it doesn't matter what your budget is and how carefully you calculate these expenses. Things happen, you know. Oh yeah, medical. That's what I didn't include. If you're a small business person, guess what, baby? You've got medical. You've got to figure that out somehow. All right, let's put that one in there. We're going to put that one on the personal side. And it is crazy. So I don't know, I'm just going to put in $1,000. That's cheap for some and expensive for others. And that changes that number, and that changes that number. So here's my monthly cost basis, is what I'm going to call it. And that's my big number. Okay, right there. I'm going to make it pretty because I'm a contractor-ish sort of person. And let's see, come on, get pretty. There we go. Boom, boom. Throw a box around it. Make it yellow. Okay, monthly cost basis, $8,200 a month. So, that being known, mostly, how much do we need to charge in our business? Well, how many hours are we going to work in a month? Are you going to work 40 hours a week? Are you going to work 60 hours a week? Are you going to work 30 hours a week? Are you going to work 20 hours a week? How much are you working? How much do you want to work? How much can you work? That's the big one. A lot of guys get into this trap here, 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week. You don't want to be doing that. You need time to run your business and have family time and all that kind of stuff. So let's go with 40 hours a week. Let's say you're in a place where you can just work the basical 40 hours a week. What am I doing here? I don't even know. Making boxes where I don't need them. Okay, I'm going to work 40 hours a week. Okay, and that's a monthly cost basis. So we've got weeks. We've got 4 weeks in a month, right? And just for simple math, let's go with total. Let's do some math. So we're going to take our monthly cost basis divided by, well, let's do it this way. Make it a little easier to see. Total hours. Don't even need a formula for that, right? 80 and 40 times 4 is 160 hours in a month. All right, now let's do our formula. Take our monthly cost basis divided by our total hours in a month that we can work. Hallelujah, praise the Lord. Look at what we have here. Hourly rate. Now this number here, we want to put a box around it. We want to make it a color. Oh, we got to make it pretty. Hourly rate, and we're going to make it bold. And we're even going to reduce the decimal places. Here you go, guys. There's your hourly rate. Here's how much to charge in your business. Tile business, drywall business, mechanic, house cleaner. Doesn't matter what you're doing, you got to survive. And in order to survive, you got to make enough money to pay your business expenses and your personal expenses. There's a number right there, $51.79 per hour. So if you're working by the hour and somebody asks you, you know, what is your hourly rate? Well, you got it. It's about $52 an hour. If you're doing estimates, then you can use that number in your estimates. And this is just going to be determined by the location you live in, how much it costs for housing, how much it costs for food for your family. If you've got a family, that number is going to be higher for sure. If you're a solo guy, young guy starting out, guy or gal starting out, then you've got a number to work off of. You can go ahead and use that number, charge that number for 6 months, a year, be reassessing this all the time to see, is it enough? Is it enough to pay what you need to pay? I can tell you right now, it just popped into my mind that it is not, because if you're taking home this amount here, you need to take off taxes, and I would figure 25% for taxes on the personal side of things. So let's throw that in there. Taxes. you know, you're gonna, let's say you're doing $5,000 a month, and you need to pull off 25% for taxes. That's probably high for some of you, but you know, I would definitely go with that. So 5,000 times 0.25, that number is 1250, because you're gonna have to pay taxes, guys. There you go. Now you've got a new rate, $61.16. That accounts for paying the man. So I hope this was helpful. I've been wanting to break this out for a while. And this will help get you started on your small business, on your trade, how much to charge per hour. And you'll find that, honestly, in some markets, you know, even though this is kind of what you need, you may start to find that the average rate is a bit higher. Like, I would say in a lot of places, the average rate for good skilled trades, whether you're a welder, you know, a carpenter, a carpentry business, I should qualify these as businesses, whatever, a lot of these guys are going to be charging between, you know, 70 and 150 an hour, depending on if you're in a high cost of living area or not. So anyway, guys, there you go. That'll help you get started. I just demystified the entire industry for you. Hope you liked it. Have a good day.